Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, both delivering swift comments right after the explosions in Manhattan injured people last night.
Just before I got off the plane, a bomb went off in New York, and nobody knows exactly what's going on. But boy, we are living in a time. We better get very tough, folks. We better get very, very tough.
We need to do everything we can to support our first responders, also to pray for the victims. And I'll have more to say about it when we actually know some facts.
And as the investigation in 3 states now continues to come together, Hillary Clinton's team released a new statement actually just a couple of hours ago. And here's part of it. And notice the nuance here. I strongly condemn the apparent terrorist attacks in Minnesota, New Jersey, New York. I pray for all of those who were wounded and for their families. Once again, we saw the bravery of our first responders who run toward danger to help others. Their quick action saved lives, end quote. Trump also reached out with a tweet. I would like to express my warmest regards, best wishes, condolences to all the families and victims of the horrible bombing in NYC. Joining me now is Steve Rogers, former member of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force and a retired lieutenant commander for the Office of Naval Intelligence. Steve, always good to see you. I want to start, first of all, with Hillary Clinton's statement, because I mentioned the nuance and I didn't quite get to it there. She went on to say, with regard to what happened in Minnesota, ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack in Minnesota, and this should steel our resolve to protect our country and defeat ISIS and other terror groups. I have a plan, a counterterrorism plan, to do just that. Does she have access to something that maybe we haven't heard about yet? That seems to be a shift.
Well, I don't believe so. Look, she had her opportunity when she was Secretary of State to deal with ISIS. We know about Benghazi. We know about all the problems that we've had in the Mideast. She simply made a statement that was a political statement. Now, you compare that to Donald Trump, and I've got to tell you, he's been consistent. He's made it very clear that the way we deal with terrorism is through strength. So you contrast what she said, which was kind of weak, and compared to what he said, which has always been from a position of strength.
We'll step away from the politics. We started there because we were coming out of her statement. When I traveled to Minnesota in late June, our reporting on this very program in June revealed a new trend in the Twin Cities, where the FBI has opened its 4th counterterrorism operation. And just 3 weeks ago, Steve, we saw the 11th Twin Cities man charged with terrorism ties. Authorities there are calling this latest an incident, not terrorism yet, or maybe not at all. We don't know. But they are not investigating this in a vacuum, as I just pointed out. What is significant about the trends we're seeing in that particular state?
Well, first of all, you've got nearly 20,000 or more Somali immigrants in Minnesota, half of which are young men. Now, al-Shabaab is the terrorist group that is dominating Somalia. And as you know, Harris, that means youth movement. So I believe that these terrorist groups, and particularly the ones out of Somalia, are targeting young people, recruiting young people, probably more so than in any other state right here, because that's why you're seeing a bit of a spike in this state. But keep in mind that our nation is under siege here. We're under attack. And these terrorist groups are going after young people who are very, very disenfranchised for some reason from this country and have a problem with us. So we're going to see more of this, and we better wake up.
And we're waiting to learn all the demographics and details about the suspect in each of these situations. I want to move now to New York and New Jersey and just talk with you a little bit about what is likely going on behind the scenes, because you have worked these counterterrorism cases before. What are they doing?
Well, you've got the greatest law enforcement in the world on this. And what they're doing is going through forensics. They're looking at, and they were very successful, as we can see, in comparing, doing a comparative analysis of the bomb that went off, that detonated in New York, as compared to the bomb that detonated in New Jersey. Now, saying that, it is absolutely imperative that they capture the person or persons who committed this act alive, because that's how you're going to find the motive. Right now, we've got someone out there. We don't know if they are, in fact, connected to an international terrorist organization. We don't know if they were given execute orders. We don't know if one person is involved. Someone could have drove this person to different locations. But that is what is exactly going on behind the scenes, a absolute manhunt nationwide, maybe internationally, to find this individual before they strike again.
Before I let you go, in news conferences today, we were hearing the words just like textbook, like a training exercise. Our people in Minnesota, all 3 of these states, reacted so well. You saw that one off-duty police officer in Minnesota. We have learned a lot, Steve. What are we lacking? Real quick, what gap is there that you see?
There's always been a gap with regard to intelligence gathering and information gathering. I've said for 2 years that the Department of Homeland Security has to start funding local police departments, the street cops. They know who, what, when, where, and why is in each and every one of the neighborhoods that walk. They could give us the intelligence we need and fill that gap.
All right. Steve Rogers joining us tonight with his expertise. We appreciate you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right now, a hard